right? Let's talk about the D.C. crime law. Speaking of Biden, because clearly we're seeing the president basically siding with the Republicans. And for those of you who don't know the background, look, I had to do a lot of research on this because I just couldn't wrap my brain around this. But a lot of people may not know that the U.S. Congress, has legislative power that's been laid out in the Constitution to block laws passed by the D.C. Council. So there's this D.C. crime law that the council passed that would basically reduce penalties for violent crimes. Republicans in the Congress are trying to repeal this law. They say, look, it's soft on crime, and obviously a lot of people in D.C. is seeing a huge spike in crime like we're seeing in a lot of major cities across the U.S. And President Biden said, look, if Congress moves to overturn this law, I'm not going to veto it. How do you, Howard, reconcile the fact that you have this president who, he's almost contradicting himself. He says, look, I support D.C. statehood, D.C. home rule, but I also support the U.S. Congress stepping in and overturning this law.
Unfortunately for the D.C. Council, I think they're just out of step with where most Americans are. I think there has been a very well-documented movement toward decriminalizing or lessening penalties for non-violent crime. But if you're lessening penalty for violent crime during a crime spike, I think there's two issues here. One is the fact that you're out of step with, I think, where most Americans are. And then I think secondarily, President Biden would essentially be putting himself in harm's way for an issue for 3 electoral votes that he knows he's going to get in 2 years that he really doesn't have to compete for. And so I think it's kind of the tail wagging the dog. And I think it's a smart political move not to step into this.